All right, we are recording, and this is the Mentorship Masters Roundtable Meetup. This is when you and I get to meet once a week. Yes, you Mentorship Masters members. Sometimes we let a couple of outsiders to look over our shoulder into the group, and sometimes we even put these on Facebook to help other people. But this is the Mentorship Masters Roundtable Meetup with my Mentorship Masters group right here at EXP. And today we're talking about one of my most exciting topics, and that's becoming a celebrity agent. Becoming a celebrity, or if you are already a celebrity, what does Uncle Knolly have in store for you? How can Uncle Knolly help you? So that's what we're going to be looking at today. And many of you don't even know about the celebrity program that I have. So and who's it for? Let me erase all this. I was actually having a coaching session with a broker out of California, and we were kind of mapping out her. And by the way, if you, as a celebrity agent, like Bryant is in the group. What's up, Bryant? I see you there. He just joined us. This guy is a master of social media, super master. There he is. What's up, Bryant? Super master of Facebook. And Mina brought him into our group, and he's a celebrity. He's already on that trajectory. And so the first thing that we do when you come into the program is uh, you know, it's really for any mentorship master, and I'll kind of give you the qualifying. But one of the first things we do is we do something like this. We do a map, kind of like a mind map, but we do a dump onto a whiteboard, okay, of your trajectory, your success. Where's the money going to come from? How are you going to succeed? Because there's so many ways to make money um, in this space. So let's get into it. Let me erase this. And by the way, if you guys know of any people that meet the criteria for this, you should be reaching out to them and saying, hey, have you considered joining us here at EXP? Have you considered joining us here at Mentorship Masters? So who is this for? Well, write this down. It's for authors, trainers, speakers, coaches, okay? Anybody that has an aspiration to be, any of the things that I am. If you want to be a YouTube, like I'm a YouTuber, I write books. I've got a whole bunch of books that I've written. You say, hey, I want to be an author. Okay, well, Uncle Nolly can help you with that. You want to get on stage and speak. Once all this COVID stuff is over, you want to go out and do public speaking. Well, I've been doing that for years. I can help you with that. You want to be a coach. You want to charge $1,000 an hour for one-on-one coaching. I can help you with that. Or you might even have some product or service that you want to get out there. You need funnels behind it. Well, I can help you with that too. So there's a lot of stuff that I do that I can help you with. Now, let me show you real quick. And I say, in some ways, I say that this is not for everyone, but even if you don't aspire to become a trainer or a teacher, you should still check this out, because chances are you know some, or you'll run across some that you can bring to the group, okay? And I can help them reach their ultimate success. Now, we got the chat box open. If you have any questions for me while we're meeting together, just throw them up there in the chat. So what I want to show you is, let me see, remove that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to log into the Mentorship Masters portal. Now, if you don't know how to get in here, then make sure you go back and look at our orientation video where I walk you through, everything with the A lot of you guys have not even been in the portal yet. Shame on you, because you're missing out. But a lot of you guys are discovering it, so that's good. So, okay, so this is the Mentorship Masters portal. Now, what we're going to do now today is we're going to skip through all the stuff there's tons and tons of great stuff. There's master classes, the book of the month, virtual coaching sessions, share funnels. You name it, it's there, okay? But right now, what we're going to talk about is all the way at the very bottom, called the Celebrity Agent Training, okay? Now, when you click on that first one, the purpose of this actual video here, or this training session, is to just familiarize you with the celebrity agent program that we have right here at Mentorship Masters, because a lot of people, either they feel like they don't qualify for it or they just don't know about it. So this is a video that you can watch that shares with you all about the program. So you want to watch that first. Then there's my Success with Seminars Masterclass. So if you want to become a teacher, like you want to do stages, you want to do speaking. I do all kinds of speaking events. Now, one of the things that a lot of people go out and teach, but they don't know how to monetize their training career. Okay, I can help you with that as well. So we've got this. We've got the PDFs, but this is a whole series called Success with Seminars. Now, I got to tell you, people have paid me thousands and thousands of dollars to teach them how to have effective seminars. Why? Because you can do a seminar and you can walk away from that seminar with 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 from one seminar. Okay. It's if you're cut out to learn that craft, then it's a really, really, really good craft. And there's a lot of different stuff you can teach. I like to teach quantum physics. Of course, I teach real estate. I teach scriptures. And I also teach people how to succeed doing seminars. I teach you how to coach. I teach you how to have multiple streams of income. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that I like to teach about. So you could actually create a seminar even for the purpose of anything you love. So let's say you're into yoga, okay? And you're like, hey, I know this isn't gonna, you sell houses, but you love yoga. Well, guess what? You can do a whole seminar getting people introduced to yoga, and that can easily catapult into your success in real estate. Easily. Doesn't matter what you like to do. It could be gardening, it could be anything. You become known for it, people come to you, and guess what? They have aunts, cousins, uncles, brothers, sisters, family members, Facebook friends, church friends, people in their neighborhood that need to buy and sell. Okay, so you build a community around your interests, and guess what? You're attracting people right away, just like that. So this is a whole masterclass where I show you how to transform your fear. Those of you that have fear of public speaking, choosing your topic, what we call the 4 H's of human connection. Very important to learn that. Equipment, what kind of equipment do you need to purchase to succeed? How to pick a date for your seminar, how to select the venue, the room requirements, the event checklist that you're going to create, filling the room, how to fill it up, how to create a class schedule, and the day before the event, etc. So essentially everything that I know around doing events, I teach you right here in that masterclass. The other thing that I have is a video that's all about how to create a PowerPoint slide presentation. So if you don't, I've created PowerPoints for, now I use a lot of other tools, but I've been creating these for years and years and years. So I created a training that just walks you through how to create a PowerPoint presentation, okay? So you can present to people. The other one that I really like is creating a flagship product. So, and I'm going to kind of walk you through some of these. I'm just giving you the overview right now. So you've got a product. It might be an app, okay? It might be a physical product that you ship people, or it might be a digital product of some kind, okay? How do you create a flagship product and get other people to buy it? I've been doing that for years. So I have a whole training on how to do that, how to create your product. And then I've got a video from Russell Brunson, one of my mentors, where he talks about creating basically how to sell anything by creating an offer, okay? And then another class that I have in here, and this is a work in progress, so there'll be other stuff added, but success with coaching. So there are some of you that want to start a thriving coaching career, okay? And you're going to charge $1,000 a month to coach people one-on-one. So I've created a whole training program in here about how to become a coach, okay? It's the welcome video. What are your financial goals? Your weekly time commitment, your client goals and intake sheet that you create for your coaching clients, the structure of your coaching calls, how you should structure those, the coaching contract, what kind of contract should you have, how to accept payments for your coaching services. Then we get into how to generate clients. We talk about the final thoughts, and then I give you some books that I recommend that you purchase to further your understanding in your career of coaching, okay? So this is right here. It's called the Mentorship Master Celebrity Agent Program. And some of you are like, man, Knolly, nobody would nobody would hire me. I don't have anything, I don't have any specificity or specialty. Well, maybe you don't right now, okay? But my vision has always been to inspire you and help you aspire to do all the stuff that I do if it's what God has called you to do. If it's so, let's write some of these things down. Okay, coaching, that's one thing you could be doing. Teaching. Now, we don't necessarily have to even come into this whole money piece around this. A lot of times I see a lot of my students that will not do something because they don't see the money behind it. That's a big mistake. It's a really, really big mistake. You know, when I started, I'm gonna write a few more of these down in a minute, but I'm gonna share a story with you. When the Holy Spirit called me to become a full-time teacher, full-time trainer, this was in 2014. Okay. Now, during that, I had just come off a year where I sold 153 homes. Okay, 153 deals. Was doing very, very good, making lots of money. Okay, making a lot of money doing it. And by the way, I was working 3 hours a week in my real estate practice. Why? Because Hollis Dean was running my company for me. Hollis Dean is now one of our mentorship masters, but he ran the Knolly team during our most profitable years. And I mean, things were good. Okay. But I got the bug to go out and teach. And I was like, I do not understand how I can make money teaching. It doesn't make any sense. You know, I was making maybe about 700,000, 800,000 in commissions a year selling real estate. And that was good money. So even though I felt called to go and teach people, I didn't know how I was going to get the money. And here's a big problem that I find with a lot of my students. They get stuck on the how. You guys get stuck on the how, okay? What you have to understand is the universe will open up a way for you to succeed, okay? If you were sent into this realm to do something meaningful, someone will come into your life that will help you. See, when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. When the student is ready, okay? So some of you guys just aren't ready yet. That's why you haven't gotten that cue. Even Jesus, when he taught his disciples, he said, man, I got a lot of other stuff to teach you guys, but you're just not ready yet. One of the biggest struggles that Christ had was that he had a lot of truth, a lot of stuff that he wanted to disseminate, but the people were not at the aptitude to receive. So this is a big problem. And one of the reasons why I get after you guys when I do, and I'm trying to get you guys to success, is because I want you to get onto the fun. I mean, you think it's just like, you're doing the work right now, but I'm trying to get you to recess. So when you get to go on stage, like I was doing, get on stage and just run my mouth for 2 or 3 hours and people pay me, that's like going to recess. That's fun. Like I'm not, there's no struggle. It's not hard. It's easy. It's easy. It's an easy paycheck. Okay. So coaching, like, with a coaching career, all that stuff that I just showed you guys up here, I've got one of my students where I'm teaching them how to get 20 clients. She happens to be a broker, so she's going to actually be coaching other real estate brokers. And you get 20 clients. You're spending 10 hours a week coaching. Okay, people pay $1,000 a month for 30 minutes a week of one-on-one coaching. $1,000 a month. I charge a lot more than that. But for the just average coach gets about $1,000 a month. In fact, I hired my very first coach when in 2004 when I was 8 months in the business. Oh, I didn't finish my first story, did I? Let me go back to my first story. So I didn't see how I was going to make any money, and that's why I didn't want to get out there. I didn't want to leave the lucrative real estate field to go out and do teaching and training, because I didn't want to give up money. I didn't see how I can make money doing it. Okay. And what I want you to write down, it's not either or, it's both and more. Let me say it again. It's not either or, it's both and more. Okay. You don't have to give up something to do this. Okay. It's just an extension of who you are and what you do. Okay. So you could be a coach, you could do, you can be a teacher, you can be an author. Okay, maybe you have a book in you, okay, that you want to write. You can be a speaker, okay, and teaching and training. You could even say public speaking down here, public speaker, if you want to be a public speaker. You want to sell product. Like you might have a product right now. You say, man, I know for a fact I could sell this product for $47 or $100, whatever it is. And it may be that it may be a class that you have. Okay, it really doesn't matter. Okay, but that's when you get into this what we call celebrity agent. This program is actually built, and you're going to see a lot of these people coming over. Okay, because I've already got one. Like Bryant just came over. He's a big Facebook whiz. We're going to help blow up his Facebook career because he's got a unique skill that real estate agents need. They need it right now, and not too many of them know about what he has to offer. But what we have to do first, you don't want to just jump out there. Like Bryant doesn't want to just jump out there and say, hey, I've got this, and that. What he wants to do is say, this is everything that I bring to the mix. Like I do a lot of stuff. You guys do a lot of things. And you want to say, okay, what's that one thing that I can bring to the marketplace that I know they need and that they'll pay for? Okay. And a lot of these people, when you get in this space, it really helps with attraction as well. As you've seen my ability to attract people because they know who I am. You know, I'm out on YouTube. A lot of you guys won't even start a YouTube channel. I'm like, that's easy. Like that's free. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? But you don't like the way you look. You don't like something about your voice or whatever the excuse is. It's just an excuse. Just like I had many excuses for years until this guy actually called me out when I was sitting in a seminar. He said, man, that's Knolly Williams out there. He said, Knolly, stand up. I stood up. He said, man, how come you're not on YouTube? This is Kent Renner. I was at Ken Renner seminar. And I was just a participator. I go to a lot of these places. I just sit and I learn just as much as I teach. So I was just in the audience, and he called me out. He had me stand up because I'm well known in Austin at the time. Everybody knew who I was. And he was like, man, how come you're not on YouTube? I said, well, I just, I gave some excuse like I hear from you guys, like, oh, I don't believe in YouTube. I'm not into that. That's not my style. That's not my thing. He was like, man, you need to get on YouTube. So he called me out, and I started doing YouTube. This is probably about 3 years ago. Okay. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at first. I thought it was dumb. It's stupid. Just talking to a camera. It's the dumbest thing in the world. But little by little, the whole key, you got to understand this. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about who can you serve. Who can you serve with the talents you have? Okay. So, so any of these areas, what I was going to say is I've got a lot of people in this space. And if you know of any coaches, authors, trainers that aren't here already at EXP, talk to them because I can help them to build even a bigger platform. They might be a local trainer in your area, whether it be Dallas or it could be in Honolulu, wherever you are. You have somebody there that you say, man, this guy's a hot dog. He's written a book and he's already got, he's got a little YouTube TV thing. Well, that's what I do. I take people that have those skills. Either if you don't have them and you want to go on that trajectory, I help you. But if you already have them, we help blow that up into a bigger trajectory. So a lot of this really has to do with, for you, gaining confidence in your skill. Like Mina, I'll give Mina as an example. I don't know if Mina's on this call. Let me see if Mina's here. Yeah, Mina's here. Mina's on this one. So Mina's an example, and Mina, she's hit me up. She said, I'm here. So look at Sharonda. Sharonda says, hey, I'm not famous yet. It's just called for me. So Mina said, hey, this is for everybody, right? This is for everybody because everyone should and can become famous. You have a voice. And a lot of times what happens, I'm going to share this and I'm going to take questions from you guys. A lot of times what happens is when you first get started doing this, it's going to feel real awkward, real stupid, real dumb, real silly. And you're just going to feel like you don't have anything to offer. You don't have anything to say. And maybe you don't right now. Maybe you really, Sabu's on the call. Look at Sabu. So Sabu, mean, this man, he was sent into this realm. I got to tell you, he's got one of the most unique stories that you'll ever hear from any individual on the planet. Okay, and at the same time, many of us are afraid, okay, to let our light shine. Okay, we're worried about the how, and we're afraid to let our light shine. So back to my story, real quick. Then I'm going to open it up. So I kept getting this bug, and it didn't make sense. Okay, and a lot of times when God calls you to a big mission, it's counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense, and you don't see where the money is. You're like, "Where's the money? That's dumb. Why would I do that?" So I fought it and fought it and fought it, and finally, I was miserable because here's the thing: happiness is a byproduct of living your purpose. Okay, happiness is a byproduct of living your purpose. So I see a lot of people, they want to go this route, but they can't figure out how to do it. So they go back to what they were doing before and they live miserable lives. And guess what? They end up 60, 70. Well, 60 is not that old. I'm almost pushing it. They end up 70, 80, 85 years old, looking back on life and wishing they had done that thing that they knew they were called to do. They just didn't know how. Okay, they didn't know the how. And because they didn't know the how, they didn't get in the boat. And here's what scripture says: you will hear a word or a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk ye in it," whenever you turn to the right or to the left. Okay, you'll hear a voice saying, "This is the way, walk in it," whenever you turn to the right or whenever you turn to the left. Now, here's what a lot of people don't understand: you will not hear the voice until you're in the boat. You got to get in the boat and get on the water, not even knowing where you're going. You're like, look, and that's where I was in 2014 is when it was. I was like, man, I don't even know how to be a speaker or a coach. You know, I had done a little bit of speaking and a little bit of coaching and stuff, but I didn't really know what I was doing. But I kept getting the calling. I didn't know how I was going to do it. And so finally I was like, okay, look, I know I'm going to be miserable until I do this, so I'm just going to do it. And if I go broke, I'll blame it on God. It's your fault, right? So that's what I did. I jumped in the game and I started calling. Back at that time, I was with Keller Williams. So I started reaching out to market centers like, hey, could you have me come in and speak? So I thought I was smart. I was like, okay, my speaker fee is going to be $1,500. I mean, I had a guy that would pay me $5,000 to come in and speak, and I would speak for 2 hours. Okay, and he'd fly me back home, pay me $5,000. Now that didn't compete with the kind of money I was making in real estate, but it fulfilled something within me. So this market center called and said, "Hey, we want you to come speak. We're doing a grand opening, and we want you to do the keynote." I was like, "Cool! I got me a gig, boy." So I started talking to her. Her name is Vicky Bartholomew. I said, "Vicky," and this is in Pearland, Texas. I said, "How much? What's the? I mean, what kind of fee are we talking about?" She said, "Oh, we don't have no budget." I said, "No budget?" I said, "Well, what you gonna pay me to come out and speak?" She said, we don't have a budget to pay you." I was like, crap. So I'm looking at God. I'm like, okay, this how you gonna do me? My first event, and you're gonna do me like this? So I told her, I said, well, I can't do anything if you can't pay. I can't go, because homie don't play that, right? So I hung up the phone. So I went in the kitchen and to do something. I was talking to Josie about it. I said, hey, they couldn't pay me. Could you believe that? She said, who wouldn't pay you? So I told her the story. She said, you go pick up the phone, you call that lady back, and you accept that thing. I said, but they don't want to pay me nothing. She said, you go pick up the phone, call that person back right now, and you accept. So here I go picking up the phone. I said, okay, I'll come out and do it for free. I left that first event with about $15,000. Okay. I didn't know where the money was going to come from, but I had created a product. I just threw a product together and I offered it I spoke. I said, hey guys, by the way, I got this product. It's $249, and a bunch of them bought. There was like 150 people in the room. I made like 15 grand. I was like, wow, this is so, I didn't know how I was going to do it when I hung up the phone, but it happened, right? Then from that event and a couple other events after that, I figured out a different way to do it, to where eventually every time I went and spoke, I was making about 20, 25,000, sometimes 30. Okay. So don't worry about the how. Okay. what you need to know is for sure that you've been called to do it, whether it be to write a book, speak, whatever it is that you've been called to do on a bigger level than what you're doing. And most of you guys are playing small. You're playing real small. Why? Because you're hiding and you don't want to be seen. But you got to see, here's the thing. You come into this realm, you got one play. You got one play at the game, right? And so what's the sense? You think that's noble? Like that's benevolent? That's big of you to hide from your gift, from what God has called you into this realm to do? Like that's some kind of like you're gonna escape or sneak out of doing what you've been called to do. It doesn't work that way. Because God has called into account. See, I'm answerable. This is what I know, and I'm going to leave with this one thought, and then I'm going to let you guys ask me any questions you have around this. But I know that I'm answerable to an almighty God for the gifts that he's given me and how I'm actually showing up to the marketplace with those gifts. I'm answerable. So I keep that in mind with everything that I do. I'm an introvert. Okay, you guys know that. You know that about me. If you've seen my disc profile, I'm an introvert. I do not like being in front of people, but I do like fulfilling my mission, my gift. So when I'm up there, like when I get going, it's not even me. I can't even take credit, because a lot of times, you guys know, I'll get on a roll. That's the Holy Spirit. I don't take credit for it. I just let the big me stand up and shine. Every one of us has a little me and a big me, and the big me wants to play big. The little me wants to say, "Oh, I don't want to be noticed. I just want to do a little bit of production, and just be small." Okay. And if you do want to be big and you just can't get it, you've got some blocks. You've got some subconscious blocks that have to be broken. Some of you guys just don't know what to do or how to do it. Some of you guys have blocks that are actually keeping you from success and hitting a ceiling that really isn't there. It's a glass ceiling, but you think it is, so you just keep hitting it. Okay. So I want to open it up for any questions you guys have around this whole idea. If you, by the way, there's a couple of you. Bryant is one that's already in the program. I know Charles is coming on board, and I'm trying to see if any of you other guys have anybody. This is open to anybody. This is not exclusive. Okay. Now I do have, if you're already in Mentorship Masters, then typically we say you have to have at least 1,000 followers. You've already got to have a rocking YouTube channel, because one of the things that I'm going to start doing is once a month, I'm going to start meeting with you guys, and it's probably going to be about a 90-minute meeting, okay, a huddle, if it goes that long, and I'm going to help you, okay. I'll help you with your funnels. I'll help you with whatever it is that you're doing in this space. People ask me all the time, Knolly, how do you write your books? I got systems for everything I do, okay. So if you guys have any questions around this, if you want to do it you don't have to do it in a big way. You can do it in a small way. Okay. All of you guys know something that you can be given to your local community, even at that level. And it doesn't have to be real estate related. I got news for you. Nobody cares about real estate. Okay. Oh, I'm going to go out and teach a real estate class. Nobody cares, guys. They don't. They do not care. Right. So the only people that want to come to a real estate class are people that are ready to buy or sell. And they're not ready to buy or sell for every 7 to 9 years. So that means if that's all you know how to talk about, you're completely irrelevant to people for 7 to 9 years of every cycle. Then when they're ready to buy and sell again, you become relevant again. Okay. You can teach. I know a guy, there's a guy that I actually don't personally know him, but I heard about him in Dallas. You know how he became well known? All he did was go serve in the lunch line, okay, serving up mashed potatoes to the kids. He worked at that school where his kids went, but they were the rich kids. The rich kids went there, and this is a luxury agent, okay? So he said, hey, I'm just going to go and serve every day at the school at lunchtime. So all the kids knew Mr. So-and-so because he's the one that scooped out the mashed potatoes or the green beans or whatever it was that day that he was volunteering to do. All the rich kids knew him, right? So guess what? They would go home, and they all loved him. So they go home and tell their parents about, Mr. whatever his name was, Mr. Smith, that did the mashed potatoes. And guess what? He got to know all their parents. And guess what? He became the biggest real estate guy in town by serving mashed potatoes at a rich kid's school. Come on, guys, this ain't hard. You're making it harder than it is. Okay. So let's see what questions you guys have me. What do you guys want to do around this, and what's holding you back? I see Sabu said, I've been doing all the things on the whiteboard list. How do I do them bigger? Okay, that's a good question. And we might have to unpack that. Charles said this would be great. I would like to know how to get to better promote my YouTube channel. Okay, so let me answer Sabu and Charles real quick. When you start doing this, you're gonna suck. You're gonna suck. Okay, you just will. When you start doing it a little more, you're gonna suck less. And eventually, this is Garrett White, how he analyzes this. Eventually, you're gonna suck so little that you're actually good. Okay, you're actually good. And so that's just the way it is, guys. You have to be willing to put yourself out there looking stupid, looking dumb. You're going to get 1 view, 2 views, 3 views, 5 views. I mean, my views can be improved. I'm not getting the kind of views I want to get, okay? But it's time on the task over time. Write that down. Time on the task over time beats talent every time. Let me say it again. Time on the task over time beats talent every time. How do I do it bigger? Just keep doing it and be consistent. Oh, but I put out a video, nobody watched it. They're not going to watch it. Nobody watched the first 100 videos I put out. Just keep putting them out. Now I release a video every single day. Every day. Just go look at it. Every day I drop a video. Every day. Before I was like, okay, I'm going to drop 1 video a week. Then I was like, okay, and that was hard, man. I get coming up with something for 1 week. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to do 3 videos a week. Now I do 1 every day. It's no problem. I got a ton of videos in the queue that haven't even been released yet. Okay. So the way you get bigger and better is you keep doing it. That's what everybody says. That's what you got to keep doing. Ricky Caruth, he called me up back in 2008. I had done some of you guys know who he is. He's a trainer, a teacher. So he called me up in 2008, and I had just gone to Orange Beach, California. I did a seminar. There was about 100 people. It was a good friend of mine that put that on. And so we had 100 people in the room, great thing. And Ricky Caruth came to the event. He was the #1 real estate agent in Alabama for sales. So he came, and then he hit me up later through Messenger. And he was like, Knolly, I want to be like you, man. I want to be like you. I want to do what you're doing. So I said, well, let's talk. So we had a chat. It turns out he had 80, he wasn't on YouTube, and he had 80 people in his coaching program. He was doing a coaching program for $100 a month. He had 80 people. So I just gave him a coaching session, just like what I'm doing with you guys right now. Now he's got, I think, 30,000 in his coaching program, 30,000. He's on YouTube every single day, and he's got way more followers than I have. Why? Because I actually, even though I coached him on what to do, I kind of dropped the ball, like it's not that big a deal. So I went for years where I would just put a video up every now and then. Inconsistent. You have to have discipline. It's time on the task over time. And see, when I tell you guys to do the 2, you lead generate every day for 2 hours. That's when I make my videos. When I'm lead generate, that's lead generation. That's what I do to lead generate. So it doesn't have to just be making phone calls. So yeah. So Pamela's asking, is the criteria 1,000 followers on one platform or across all platforms? So if you have a single platform where you have at least 1,000 followers, that's usually the criteria. So these are people typically that come into this program that are already known. But here's the thing. Anybody can join in on when we have our monthly call. Okay. So don't worry about it. If you're not there yet, you're still going to gain wisdom from everybody else that's part of the program that is there. The only thing is, what I'm saying is, I'm not going to have a deep dive with you like I'm going to do with Bryant, because that takes me several hours. Like, it's at least a couple of hours to do that. And I've got to know that you already have a trajectory towards success. I'm not going to invest my time or yours on a whim. Okay. You have to earn. See, I'm in a group at EXP called exp influencers. There's 97 or 98 people in that group. It's less than 100 of the 30,000 agents at EXP. The group is led by the president of EXP. We meet every single week. Okay. You don't get invited to that group unless you're an influencer. You're an influencer. Now, I didn't just say, hey, could you teach me how to become an influencer and then leave me in the group? No, I had to prove that I had something to bring to the table before they would invest in me. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I remember Russell Brunson. He was like, join my inner circle. It's 25,000. Okay. So I talked to Josie. I said, hey, I want to join Russell Brunson's inner circle. 25 grand. She said, well, if you think it's a good idea, go ahead. So I went ahead, signed up, put my credit card number, and you know what happened? Declined. It was like, man, you're not the material we need. Okay. So I wasn't at that level. This is about 3 or 4 years ago. And I probably still ain't at the level to play at Russell Brunson's level. You see what I'm saying? He wouldn't even receive my 25,000. I'm ready to pay you. It's like if somebody comes to me, Lucas comes to me and says, man, I'll pay you $30,000 to teach me everything you know. I'm like, man, I don't want your money. You do it first, and then I'll teach you for free. You see what I'm saying? So you do some of the work that we teach first, and then I'll come in here and we'll do a deep dive. We'll get into all that stuff. Okay, so let me see. Bryant, his first question. He said, I have a workplace group that I created a year ago. He has over 1,800 members. What can I be doing now to leverage that audience? So what Bryant does specifically in the area of social media, and particularly he has a unique ability. Mina hired him to help generate leads. People are like, Mina, how you getting all these leads? Well, what they don't know is she's got people in her back pocket, just like I do. People like Bryant. Bryant's behind the scenes creating a ton of Facebook leads. I mean, the guy's a genius with his whole system that he's created, around how to generate leads on Facebook and social media. So what I would say, Bryant, is you want to have consistency. Anything that you do has to have consistency. So if you have a Facebook group that's 1,800 members, let them know what to expect. So it's something like, hey, new training every Tuesday. New trainings every Tuesday at 1 p.m. or new trainings every Tuesday at 1 and Thursdays at 3. So your group already knows what to expect from you. It's like, man, because you've amassed a group. It's just like you don't want to have sheep without a shepherd. Okay. There's a lot of people at EXP that are attracting people to because they're big names, but they don't have any program. Like I have Mentorship Masters. So I'm attracting them, but I'm also saying, hey guys, hey, every Thursday at 1 o'clock, we meet. We're going to do something. Okay. We're going to learn something together. So you have to have consistency and you have to bring value with consistency. And then you have to have a CTA. Okay, a CTA is a call to action. A call to action. So don't worry about it, guys. If you're not an influencer yet, you're not at that level, don't worry about it. When you come here, you're still going to learn everything that you need to know to get to where you need to be. And then eventually it would warrant some private time that I spend with you. My thing is, my big why is that I'm growing Mentorship Masters. I want to have 40,000 agents in Mentorship Masters. Yeah. And so I know that if I help you guys that are book authors or speakers and you're getting audiences like Bryant, we can take the same group he has and just put it on Facebook and grow and do a group that's not specifically to EXP, and we can grow that, maybe have 10, 15, 20,000 members there. Right. And then eventually they're going to be like, well, what's this Mentorship Masters? My whole thing is I want to reduce the failure rate. Okay. A lot of people are failing in this business and they shouldn't be. I want them over here where I know they can succeed if they do what I tell them to do. Okay. So, Sabu says, yeah, Kung Fu. Mastery through time and effort. That's a great analogy because in Kung Fu, the master, see, naturally, people are like, man, you spend a lot of time with that person. Y'all haven't really told me that, but I get it because the Kung Fu artist or the master is going to spend more time with the students that are actually investing more time. Okay. So when I see one of my students like Charles Lee, he brought 3 people over. So we go, hey, Charles, what's up, man? Let's talk, dude. You know, I charge $2,000 an hour for people to do a one-on-one with me. But guess what? I might do one for free. Obviously, I mean, I don't charge you guys any money, but that person's going to warrant my time. We all get 168 hours a week, 168. I don't have any more hours than you do. Okay, your time is as valuable as mine, and I guard my time, and I say no to most things. That's really good. Pamela has 1,400 followers. That's good. That's good. You're in the house, Pamela. What's up? And Pamela, you already have, because you've worked with a lot of celebrities, so you already know, from your background, how it is working with celebrity, people in general out there where you are. That's excellent. Brian said that's gold right there. I didn't think of that. So do you guys have any other specific questions for me around this? I know that it's very difficult to see the how, and still I struggle with this too, guys. It's like, okay, God, how are we going to do this? It's like, don't worry about that, because it's just like I tell people, how'd you meet your spouse? Okay, if you think about it, could you have orchestrated that? No. I mean, the series of events and things that have to happen in order for that one thing to happen. Okay, like the guy that put me on Jesus Daily, they've got, look at this. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you that, guys. This is crazy right here. You got to see this. So you go to Facebook, and I don't know if some of you guys know about this, but look at this right here. Jesus Daily. Look at this. Okay, there it is, right there. Okay. All right, Jesus Daily. Can somebody tell me how many people are following Jesus Daily? Put it in the chat. Do you see that? How many follow?
Wow.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Amazing.
35 million likes. Okay? Not 33 likes, not 35,000, 35 million. They got 33,000 followers. Okay? So a buddy of mine who is friends with the guy that started Jesus Daily, he just called me 2 weeks ago, like, hey man, I saw you doing Front Row. What's up with that? So we just started chatting. I've known, his name's Everett Fitzgerald. I've known him since we were in our 20s. And it just so happens that he works for Miles Monroe, who's a big pastor out in San Diego that has his church called The Rock, that knows the guy that started that Jesus Daily. Okay. So my buddy is the social media manager for the church, and he knows all the people that own Jesus Daily. So he was like, man, we like what you're doing with Front Row. We want to put you on a weekly spot on Jesus Daily to our 35 million people. And I was like, cool, what do I need to do? Like, what's it going to cost me? He said, it ain't going to cost you a dime. I know the people, they're my boys. It's all good. And all you have to do is come up with a weekly content every single Wednesday at a certain time, and I got you in, okay? So he just opened that up for me. So we're going to start that in 2 weeks. This one particular Front Row, which is just Bible training, is going to be featured on Jesus Daily every single week. I didn't do anything to do that. That guy called me up. You see what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you're in the quantum field. When you focus on your gift and when you're out there doing what God put you on earth to do, opportunities open up. It's not anything that I did, guys. And I could have been trying to get on. I didn't even know there was a place out there with 35 million followers to begin with. And if I did know about it, it might have taken me 10 years to try to get on there. They don't know. They're like, man, who's this fool to keep calling us? We don't know him. But because, see, you can start going in the side doors and back doors. And that's what I do for people like Brian and Charles. I'm going to take them. We're not going through no front door. That's for the commoners. We go through the back door. When we come to your house, we're coming through the side door. We ain't coming through the front door like that. So it's opening doors for people. Okay, how do you select the right product? Okay, so let me show you real quick. This is Pamela's asking if you have some questions around that. Do you have a particular product, Pamela, that you have a vision for? And you guys can unmute yourself if you want. You can talk to Uncle Knolly. I won't bite.
Yes, I want to I'm developing a course also on forgiveness, like how to really forgive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think people say they forgive, because I've often done that. I forgive you, but I'm still mad.
Gotcha.
So I want to do a book on that.
Okay. So from the book, do you foresee, so what's the ultimate end game of the book?
So well, that's a good question, but basically what I want to do is help other people live like in freedom, like to not be walking around with all these emotions tied up, because the emotions show up in other areas of your life, like, in sickness
Yeah.
and pain and things that you think is one thing, but it's really because you have this unforgiveness and this anger inside you.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, because I've taught on unforgiveness, and it damages the individual, not the person that's not being forgiven.
Right.
So let's talk about that. Um, so here's the thing, Pamela. So what happens is a lot of times we'll get an idea like, okay, I have a book I want to write about unforgiveness, and I have a unique way of presenting it to people that they can understand. And I really feel like really led to do this. So what happens is, first of all, the book is the hardest thing to do. A lot of people want to start with a book.
Mm.
I wrote a book. I wrote this book here. Now this is what nerds do. They write books that are 430 pages or 450 pages, and they think that because they wrote a big book that they're actually creating more value. But really, it's like people like, man, I ain't gonna read no 400 some page book. Now I have other books that are small, like this. The Secret to Knowing God's Will for Your Life. That's an easier read, 100 pages. The problem with starting with a book is a book is very, very it's the most difficult. It's one of the most difficult things people do. By the way, after you write your first book, this is my first one right here. It's called 7 Days to Success with Short Sales. I wrote this book, and this is also about 380 pages. I wrote this in 2009. Very, very, very difficult project. Now I can just sit down and write a book. It's no problem. Like when I wrote this book took me about a week to write. Okay, triple my listings. Took about a week. Okay, but that's over time. So eventually, as an author, so if you've been called to do an author, here's what I tell people. So when I started, this is going to help you. So when I started Success with Listings, okay, I started that as a seminar, not as a
Mm.
book,
Okay.
as a seminar. Okay, so it was a 3-hour seminar. Okay.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, and this is going to be what I tell people. If you have a book in you, start with a a webinar or a seminar, something that you can teach to people. You don't have to do it. You could even record it and do it that way as a like a training, but create a PowerPoint presentation around your topic on forgiveness. So come up with your notes and this and that and whatever, and then you create it. Because the reason, so what I did with this Success with Listings is I taught that class in probably, I wrote the book in 2015. So at that time I had probably spoken in about 50 cities, okay, with the seminar. So I knew all the questions that agents had, what they wanted to know, what they wanted to learn, everything. And it was a 3-hour seminar, and people were asking me about this and that and that. So from that, I was able to deduce it down into a book. Okay. Some of the most famous people in the industry don't usually start with a book. Like my teacher, Russell Brunson, he wrote this book, .com Secrets. Okay. But see, he had already been in the space for 10 years before he wrote a book. His first book took him 10 years. He was already well known in the space. Now, look at the book he just came out with, okay, called 30 Days. Look how big this is, okay? Now we just sit down, we just write books. It's no problem. It's easy. But a book, see, if you start with a book, what will happen is it'll push back your trajectory so far that you don't have any momentum. Okay. Now when I came up with the Success with Listings seminar, I came up with a slide deck of about 50 slides. Eventually it ended up being 90 slides for the seminar. Because I would go and people, they like that joke, I'm gonna keep that one in, or they like when I said this or like that. Eventually it was like I knew exactly what to say and what they wanted to learn. And and so I started teaching it first. So what I would say is come up with you could do like a blog post about it, or you can, if you just like to write and you don't like to speak as much, you can start it off with just with blog articles that you put out weekly. Find somebody that will pick those up so that it's not just you're just putting them out on your own blog. They're going somewhere else, or come up with a training around this whole thing. Now, at the end of the day, what I say is what's the end game? Okay. And you may not even know what the end game is. Like, what's your ultimate objective? You don't even know. You just know that you feel like you've been led in the position, in the trajectory of doing this. Okay. So eventually you can come up, I don't know if I have my, I have a friend of mine that wrote a workbook, Program Your Mind for Massive Success. And that's just a very thin workbook. So he goes out and teaches workshops where he teaches people. They get the book, and then and now this guy's a mortgage guy, okay? But he likes to teach about the subconscious mind. So he teaches real estate agents stuff that's not even real estate related, and they're like, man, I like how he teaches, and then they end up using his services for real estate, you know? So you could have a class like on unforgiveness, and you can have this at something that you go out to local churches or local community places, and you actually teach this 1 hour class with a little, it could even have a 1-page handout. Like, here's an example. Don't make it too complicated, make it easy. So I could actually teach a 1 hour or 2 hour class on this. It's just a 1-page handout and this is the 8 pillars. This is spiritual business mastery that I teach. And then the back of it, I kind of break down each pillar, and then I just talk around it. Right. And then from there, the book will come. The book will come. Now, the way I write all my books, this will help you too, is I've written 100% of my books except the first one. This one, when I wrote this one, I hired Rebecca John. Rebecca John was she was the director of Knolly Williams University, and she became a friend of mine. And basically what I did to write this book was she interviewed me for an ungodly amount of time. I mean, for weeks, she would just come and interview me, and I would just do a brain dump. This is what we call ghostwriting. Okay. So this is where a ghostwriter will just interview you, and then they'll take all your content and they'll charge about $1 a word, and they'll charge you to write your book. So that's what I did. This one I paid about $15,000. And then I made her a partner where she got a percentage of the proceeds. Remember, you don't make money on books, okay? You might, if you get published, you might make $1 a book. So you got to look at the book as a marketing piece. It's a marketing piece. And they say, oh, that's Pamela. She's the author on forgiveness, And then guess what? All those people that know about you, they have friends, relatives, and people that need to sell and buy houses because they also know that you sell real estate. So, I mean, what I would do is when I was doing, if I were you, I'd come up with a static seminar about forgiveness. I'd make it like 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. And then I would teach that, and then just have people come out, put it on when we can go out again, right? Put it on Eventbrite, have people show up and attend your event. And then as you're teaching them, you're talking, I was showing a house just the other day. Oh, you guys know I'm a real estate agent, right? Yeah, y'all know that already. You work it into your act. You work it into your thing, right? And so then afterwards, like, hey, I heard you sell houses. Yeah, that's what I do. You pass out your cards. You let people know that, hey, if you know anybody that needs to buy or sell, you're just putting yourself in front of people, and people know other people. Now, when I write a book, so the first time I hired a ghostwriter, now I just do them all myself, and I use Siri. Okay. 100% of my books are written with Siri. So every single word in every one of my books was just dictated into Siri. Now, when you do that, the challenge is that most people write differently. Like when you sit down and type, it's different than the way your stream of consciousness. It's different from the way you think. So you have to actually teach your brain how to articulate in the way that you write. Like you have to teach your mouth how to speak in the way that you normally would speak with a keyboard. Because you'll notice you can say some really articulate things with a keyboard, but when you speak, it may not sound that articulate. So you have to reprogram the brain. And accountants do this, okay? Accountants learn to think unlike a Homo sapiens. They don't think like the Homo sapiens species. They think in mathematics, which is not natural. It's completely non-intuitive. But they've taught their brain. Mathematicians have done this. They've taught their brain how to teach, how to learn, but they switch it. So they switch into that section of the brain and they switch back to being a normal person. Otherwise, nobody'd understand what they'd just be too weird. So that's what I would do is don't get so stuck in the whole idea of writing a book. Get stuck on the idea of you have a message that you want to get out. Okay, you have a message to get to the world. And a book may or may not be the best way to do it. It might be, okay? But you can just start with YouTube and say, hey, every morning I'm just going to do a 2 or 3 minute video about forgiveness. This little thing that I thought of this morning, and I'm just going to put that out there. And so has that been helpful? It's been helpful. Okay, good.
Yes, very helpful. Thank you so much. I've been taking notes.
You're welcome. And Melinda says The Forgiveness Project by Michael Berry, or A More Excellent Way to Be in Health by Dr. Henry Wright. So look at the chat, would help as well. There's also A Course in Miracles, which is all about forgiveness. Dr. Hawkins talks about it quite a bit. I haven't myself read it, but it's called A Course in Miracles, and a lot of people like that as well. Yeah, many accountants are weird. Yeah, I know. Any other questions that you guys have? I know it's top of the hour, but I want to help you guys. Brian, you got anything? Oh, this is Sabu. Hold on. Sabu's asking, Sabu, what I would recommend for you, he's asking about Memoirs of Madness, Mayhem, and Miracles. Oh, with your book, what would you suggest? What I would suggest is, because that book is, from my understanding, an unfinished unfinished project. And what you want to do, guys, is you want to pull back, okay? And don't see, people get really stuck on this idea that I want to be an author, I want to have a published book, or I want to have whatever. Just give up that whole idea. Just surrender it. Surrender the thought of being an author or a speaker or a trainer. And just come into the thought of, God has given me a message. I have a message. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's right there in my throat, okay? It's ready to be birthed. And some of you don't have a message, and that's okay. You don't have to have a message, guys. I mean, some of you know what the message is? Get to work, get busy, go sell some houses. That's your message. That's it. You don't have, and that's fine. But if you're in a place where you know that there's something like Sabu, he has had an interesting childhood and an interesting life, and he has a message that can help other people, then you don't get stuck on the medium or of how that message is going to be articulated. It doesn't have to be in print. It could be audio. It could be YouTube videos. It could be, you could actually just speak it. Like I could get behind my microphone and I can speak it, and then I can have an editor. Like I have an editor on staff that just puts all these images behind the words that I'm speaking. There's a lot of ways to get your message out. So don't get stuck on a particular way to get it out there. Because the problem with a book, and I'll go back to Pamela's same thing. The problem with a book is it doesn't get put out until it's finished, okay? And when you look at my YouTube channel, you'll notice that I drop a video every week, and they're just like, it's like if I was reading a couple of pages of a book, but it's just a bunch of little unfinished pages. But if I had to wait to put out a movie until the whole movie was done, I'd probably be releasing one like twice a year. You see what I'm saying? So this is the reason why I'm saying you guys need to show up. If you're talking about building a following and being an influencer, you need to show up, because just dropping a book is not going to make you an influencer. Okay. You need to start showing up every single day and using your voice. Okay. So with your memoirs, start sharing that stuff, Sabu. Start sharing bits and clips and pieces of it. in YouTube videos, and in any place that makes you feel the most uncomfortable. You got to go for it. Yeah, yeah, and that is a great title, by the way. Memoirs of Madness, Mayhem, and Miracles. Beautiful title. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. There's a lot of very, very, very high level content or stuff that I could share with you. One thing that I am feeling like I want to share with Pamela real quick before we end, I want to share this. So let's say, Pamela, on your unforgiveness project, you have you got to, in your mind, see in our mind we see a book because we want to dictate, because we see ourselves doing something. We say, oh, it must be a book. Or maybe you see a book, but that just, the Holy Spirit's just showing you the end game. The book might be 5 years from now. I mean, when I first got into real estate, I saw a book. Like my first month in the business, I saw a book. Okay. Now I didn't write the book for 11 years, but I saw the book. Okay. So don't get stuck on the idea that, oh, that's what you have to do next. So you might actually create this seminar, and then from the seminar, guess what? You create a series that's $297. And you have to have what we call a value ladder. Okay. This is what we call a value ladder. Okay. So, and I know that's hard to see for some of you guys, but it starts off with a book. And then up here, it might be your inner circle. Okay. And that's where people pay you $20,000 a year to be part of that group. Okay. And this is where you might be able to do your biggest work, workshops, events, things like that. Now, maybe you don't even want to go here, but I'm just showing you how this normally works. In the middle of your value ladder, you might have a product that's like $300. Okay. So what you're doing when you bring people into your world, the book is really, it's not a moneymaker. It just brings people into your world, into the world of Pamela. And so ultimately, you get people to ascend up what we call the value ladder. Okay. So my value ladder, at the very top of my value ladder, is I used to have a $25,000 a year, okay, inner circle. So now the celebrity program and Mentorship Masters has become that. So I don't have this, and the top of my value ladder is Mentorship Masters. Okay. So I create all this value. Like I might have a book over here for free. And then I might have a $297 product, $1,000 product here, a toolkit of some kind. And then all the way up to where ultimately I want them to get into mentorship. I mean, that's my ultimate goal. I don't make any, it's no mystery. I mean, ultimately, like Russell Brunson, his now to get in his inner circle is 100,000, 100,000, for 1 year. And all that is for the privilege of being able to contact Russell on his cell phone and for answer questions. Okay. But the truth of the matter, he tells you, he's not going to tell you anything differently than what's in the book. Okay. Just like you guys know, most of what I teach you every single week is the same stuff I've been writing about it. And it's everywhere that I teach, but you hear it in a different way and it activates. It causes you to activate. So that's why I said, Pamela, about your end game. Most people already know that their end game, like you might say, well, I want to build a Mentorship Masters organization myself of 100 people. Like Bryant, he's going to have hundreds of people in his organization. Okay. Now, you can help people every step of the way, and we don't necessarily withhold from them, but they're going to get the best help. Like you guys know, in Mentorship Masters, you're going to get the best help, because if you got a problem with a deal, or you got something, you guys know you can just call Uncle Knolly, or you can call the person that sponsored you. Somehow they're going to get up to Uncle Knolly if it needs to, and we're going to have that conversation if it needs to go to that level, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you and kind of expand the way you guys are thinking. There's more. And by the way, ultimately, where does this lead? Let me share this with you if I can. Let me see. Let me show you where this leads, because I think this is very helpful. Let me see if I have it here. I wasn't planning on sharing. Okay, so ultimately, I didn't plan on sharing this, but I'm going to just show you. Ultimately, guys, this leads to what I call the 5 pathways to wealth. Okay, I don't make all my money from one place. Okay,
Right.
so you're going to have, and these are, I'm going to teach on this in the future, so you don't have to worry about frantically writing it all down. But number one is ongoing revenue from your current business, your real estate practice. That's number one. Number two, you guys are going to eventually, those that are celebrities are going to want to have a coaching funnel, okay, teaching others what you've learned. Okay, that's another revenue stream. Number three, you're going to have a sales funnel, a product, okay, offering a product you have created for sale. The fourth revenue stream, I'm gonna put these all together, so don't. I have one slide that shows them all. It's going to be revenue sharing, right? That's what we do right here at EXP. And then fifth, you're going to have affiliate marketing. So these are what I call the 5 pathways to wealth. I have a whole thing where I teach on this. It takes a couple of hours. But what you want to look at is, see, there's no money in a book, right? So you can write a book, you can sell 10,000 copies, you'll make 5 grand. Okay, there is no money in it. I can do one workshop and make that kind of money. But what happens though is when you become known, you have different, what we call streams of revenue. And here's what the 5 are. These are the 5 that I tap into every single day. So if one's a little low, like if my real estate sales are low this month, guess what? I just turn up the other pieces of the mix. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys, and that has been helpful for you to understand. And that's why whenever I'm asking you guys, if I'm taking you on this ascension journey, the whole game at the end of the game is to get you into multiple streams of income, not just like, hey, I wrote a book, look at me, I'm an author. No. There's an end game to it, if that makes sense. Pamela says she didn't know about the books. So typically on a book, you're making what you actually make is $1 per book from a publisher. Okay, $1, $1. Just like when I was in the music business, we put out CDs. The artist got maybe made a buck, maybe $2 sometimes. So that's the reason why I just make all my books free. What's the point? Because the whole purpose of a book is it's like when you pass out flyers to people to market yourself. That's what a book is. So it's just a marketing piece. That's all it is. So a book is really to get people to book you on their radio show, or to book you on their TV program, or to book you to come do a seminar, or to want to do coaching with you. So whatever your end game, that the end game is not the book. The end game might be like Pamela might say, well, I want to sell 50 houses a year. Well, guess what? If you have a book and you go out and do a seminar twice a month, they don't have to be people that buy and sell homes. You just do a free seminar on unforgiveness. People show up, and now all of a sudden you got 50, 60, 70 people coming to every seminar. And guess what? They've got cousins, uncles, aunts, friends that need to buy and sell. You're going to be in the first person in mind to do business with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's what we call an end game. That's how writing a book can end up helping you sell 50 houses. All right. So yeah. Any other questions before we skedoodle?
Hey, Knolly, it's Melinda.
What's Melinda? What's up?
Hey, when you talk about being happy in your purpose, so I do want to do like videos, but I get a little nervous. I can basically if I see something, I can break it apart and make stuff. I've always been able to like see it and make it. Or colors, I could see colors and transform a room. And I've done some celebrities' homes. I did some of the Spurs homes, and I've done doctors' homes, and I'd like to start doing that kind of stuff again, because I felt more alive during that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I always wanted to do real estate too.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. So a lot of times we have something, Melinda, that pays the bills, and we recognize that. But see, what a lot of people don't understand is that whatever your purpose is can be fulfilled typically through your real estate practice. And that's why I tell people it's not either or, it's both and more. Okay? It's not either or, it's both and more. So you don't have to feel like you probably prefer doing the design, maybe even more than you like selling real estate. So what you do in that case is you still can get out there and start doing YouTube videos on, hey, how to transform a closet. Hey guys, Melinda Chavez here, and today we're going to talk about how to transform your closet in less than 5 minutes, or whatever it is, something corny.
I used to do organization, and I work with a builder. I love working with him because I get to go out and pick paint and tile. I love doing that stuff.
Yeah, here's the thing, Melinda. A lot of times people like you and me, we feel like we don't have anything to contribute because what we do so naturally that we think everybody should be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody knows how to write a book. Like, duh, why would I teach somebody how to write a book? Like everybody knows that. But the reality is people don't know that. And so you have to show up. You have to show up and you have to teach people. I mean, you could create an amazing following of realtors easily, just showing them very small, just having like a weekly YouTube that comes out Tuesdays at 1 o'clock or whatever, where you just teach agents how to do light staging. Okay. I mean, I used to teach, one of the biggest followings I ever got was when I taught 7 Days of Success with short sales. And 95% of the people I taught this stuff to didn't do it. They just hired me to do it. And so I created a whole nother business where I just did processing for people, because they didn't want to do it. They weren't going to do it anyway, but your name still gets out there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great story. You say, hey guys, I've done for several of the San Antonio Spurs, and I've done doctors and this and that. And here's what I'm here to teach you about staging. So stay tuned. And then every week you have a little thing, or it could be even arts and crafts. It doesn't matter. We follow a gal here in Austin. Her name is Adrienne. She has a thing called Yoga with Adrienne. Okay. She lives here in Austin. She's got over 1 million followers. She teaches yoga like 30 minutes a day. It's a yoga class. Yes, I've been learning yoga, guys. Yeah. So my wife and I do yoga every day and just put on YouTube and follow Adrienne, what she's teaching. Now, guess what? If I knew she was a real estate agent, which she isn't, but if I knew she was, I mean, she's got an instant audience of people. She's like, hey guys, y'all know I just do this for fun, right? I sell houses. Oh, you sell houses? Oh, we can get Melinda to sell our house. The one we've been seeing on YouTube. Oh, we want her to sell our house. You see what I'm saying? Or even if you have pictures, Melinda, of some of those Spurs homes, you don't have to mention their name. Say, hey, here's a picture of one of the San Antonio Spurs living room, and here's what we did with it. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to walk you through how we did this. But just get out there. Yeah, for sure. And that'll actually be more fun to you. Like, it's far more fun for me to do a Zoom call like I'm doing right now, or to do a seminar, or do a YouTube video, or to do whatever, stuff like that, and then to go sell a house. Okay. And so I just had a guy or a gal, we got an offer on a house. I'm like, crap, I got to deal with this real estate stuff. So I deal with it real quick. Okay, back to fun. I'm having fun again. But we got an offer on a house, did that in between. I mean, it's no problem. And your clients will not penalize you for being a celebrity. I used to think that if I start doing all these trainings and everything, but it actually worked in reverse. My clients were like, oh, you're the one that teaches other real estate agents. We want you to sell our house. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't realize that would happen. So there's a lot of things that will happen for you when you show up and be the you that you are, that God created you to be. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I try to make a video, but my daughter says I look like I'm in pain.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're going to look terrible until you don't.
Yeah.
That's what you should expect. You're not making a video for your daughter. You're not even making one for you.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
eventually you have to learn. Like, I even have a hard time because you and I have a similar profile. I have to learn to smile. Like, a lot of times I start talking and I forget to smile.
Yeah.
And like you and even Charles, we have the same profile. So we have to remember to smile and just make light of things sometimes, because we do have a good sense of humor. It's just when we're in the hot seat, we tend to get very serious looking. And you can do a whole lot of videos that you just don't show anybody. Like, do a bunch of videos that you never intend to release. And then guess what? One day you're going to release one. And then you're going to release another one. And people are going to be on there like, who's this stupid cowboy? What's this boy going to teach me? There are going to be some people, some trolls out there that's going to dog on you and everything like that. That's cool. That's okay. But it's not about you. We have to get, because that really is the little me that says, I don't want to be seen. I don't want people to talk bad about me. Okay. You have to push through that and get out there and help people. That's what it's all about.
Thank you, Knolly.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, I'm here for you guys. We're not going to have another celebrity topic call for another month. So if you guys have any other questions around this, I would say that you have your homework cut out for you going into the portal and consuming all that content. So do that first. But if you guys have any other questions for me, Brian, I'm going to get with you. We'll do a deep dive. We'll whiteboard it out, and as the rest of you come to that level where you're ready. And by the way, like Bryant has a following of 1,200 people in one Facebook group, but see, we might decide at the end of the deep dive, based on his big why, that might not even be the right direction. We might go in a whole different direction. I mean, only God knows what comes out of these sessions. And then at the end of the day, we feel real good about the trajectory and everything when you get real clear about your purpose and what you're doing, then everything else becomes a distraction. Okay. So Bryant's going to start getting people going to offer him, hey, could you do this? He'll be like, no, that doesn't fit with where I'm going. Somebody else might say something. He says, yeah, I like that one. That fits. And that's when you can become an affiliate marketer and I get checks from all over the place. They're not big checks, but they're checks from all kinds of stuff. I just got one in from YouTube. I got one from Amazon, because I market stuff. People, if it's a good product, I help market it and people buy it and they pay me. Okay, here's Charles is sharing his YouTube channel. So you guys go check out his channel. He says, you can go see how much I suck. Oh, you should see some of my earlier videos. Boy, I'm telling you, I had to unlist some of them off YouTube because they suck. They're bad. But that's just the way it is, guys. And eventually you suck so little that you're actually good. People are like, man, that guy's pretty good, And one other thing, I keep saying one other thing. The last thing I'm going to say, it's called finding your voice. Write that down. Finding your voice. Finding your voice. Because here's what happens is when you first start, like Melinda, you look like what'd she say? Your daughter says you look like you're upset or whatever it was. I'm
scared.
Like you're scared. Yeah. Okay. So all you have to do, so you already know this, Melinda, to transfer fear into excitement, you just smile. Okay. And a look of fear, which looks like this. Hi guys, I'm Knolly Williams. And today we're going to learn about the 3 tactics on how to do, that's fear. But if I say, hey, I'm Knolly Williams. Today we're going to learn about the 3 tactics. Now I didn't do anything different except I smiled. Okay. My face was still really the same. I'm still nervous, but I put a smile on. Okay. And it flips fear into excitement. That's how you can do it. But I will say, it's time on the task over time and finding your voice, because when you do it enough, eventually, like you guys see, I'm very comfortable, and I'm still not quite maybe exactly where I will be, but I'm very, very comfortable on camera now. I mean, A&E called me up to do a TV show. They didn't call me up. They wanted to feature one of my houses. So we did. We featured it on Sell This House. By the way, they got me another listing. They were like, hey, we're going to feature this other house, but they don't have an agent. Could you pretend like you're the agent on the show? So I went and pretended. Now, I did so well on camera that the lady immediately called her friend, her best friend, and said, we need to get you on House Hunters. So now I have on speed dial the gal that is the executive producer of House Hunters for HGTV. Why? Because when I got up there, I had been doing YouTube so long that there was nothing to it. They put a camera in my face. It was a much bigger camera than I'm used to seeing. And I said, hey guys, now this house right here, I got to tell you, it needs this. And I just started talking. Y'all know how I do. And it was like, man, this guy's a natural. I wasn't no natural. That's me being on YouTube for 3 years. It looks like a natural, but remember, talent is overrated. It's time on the task over time beats talent every time. Okay. All right, y'all. I love you. Yeah, time on the task over time. That's Bryant. Yeah, there you go. Beats talent every time. Love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Let's go out there. Let's rock it. Let's be the celebrities that we were meant to be. Adios.
Bye.
Thanks, Knolly. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother. We're going to rock it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Knolly.
My pleasure. Love y'all.